Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your host, MagMongoSlade. Today, we're going to talk about Smackdown from April the 19th, 2023. But first, we're going to discuss WWE having cuts. There were some cuts that occurred. They're trickling in overnight. There's at least 3 or 4 people that we know for sure that are gone from WWE. Jinder Mahal, Xia Li, Zion Quinn, and Veer have all been released, at least as far as I know. Of course, it's always unfortunate when talents get released, but these were talent that Triple H weren't using anyway. So I thought at first it was a draft thing, because Jinder Mahal put out that he quit, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. And I thought maybe it was, the draft is coming up, and they're going to start doing this whole free agent thing to try to make it look and sound real that, certain talents are going to be leaving WWE. At the same time, though, perhaps it is real and that they've been doing the draft lineups and they've decided that certain talent they don't need and they're just going to send them home and call it a day for them. So I don't know. But Jinder Mahal, of course, is the big one so far. Former WWE champion. The guy was involved with The Rock. The guy was involved with Cody Rhodes. And, he's been doing a lot of stuff lately. But it's been since like January. But, he was involved with some really major angles. And he now doesn't work there anymore. Now, him being tied to Indus and Indus not getting over. I mean, that's the way the cookie crumbles. But the second run for Jinder Mahal was much better than his first run. Jinder being hindered, well, he's got to go back out on the independents and do it all over again. I know there are some independent promoters that are interested in him already. I've seen a couple tweet about it. He's probably more popular than people give him credit for. But Zion Quinn never really got out of the box. Again, NXT killed him. It killed him. Killed him dead. Xia Li never really. A couple of stop starts with her. They tried a couple of times to reboot the character, to change the character a little bit, but she just never got off the ground. No matter what they did with her, it just never seemed to stick. I guess it's a fair cut because she had a lot of time. She was in WWE for quite a while, something 2017, I think. They tried to reboot the character several times. It's not a Zion Quinn situation where, he never really even got a chance. She got plenty chances. It's not a Jinder Mahal situation where she was so high up the card that it was kind of a surprise. So of those 3 or 4 people that we know are gone so far, I'm most surprised by Jinder, but none of them are at a loss really. There's probably going to be more over the next couple of days. And unless something major happens, I probably won't talk about it again until the Raw review. All right. Match 1. AJ Styles defeats LA Knight to become the number 1 contender for the WWE Championship. AJ won this match relatively clean. I think he did poke LA Knight in the eye, but that was pretty much it. 50-50 booking. AJ Styles just lost to LA Knight, and now he beats LA Knight. He probably should. And the match in France is actually not long from now, so they don't have time to squeeze in a third match. It's probably going to have to be after the fact. So Styles and Rhodes, I like that idea. A lot of people was discussing that AJ Styles is one of Dusty's final opponents, because when Dusty was working at TNA, he did end up working with AJ Styles. So this ought to work out just fine. I like AJ Styles. I hate his theme song. Everybody's visceral hatred of Def Rebel trying to bully WWE into cutting them out. Continue that. I support that. I support this, not even a boycott, but this absolute denigration of Def Rebel until it just goes away. I support that. I love that. Do more of it. But Styles and Rhodes, that's fine. It doesn't seem to lead anywhere or go anywhere. They're going to do a contract signing next week. Okay. It just seems random. I think Vince Russo and some other people were very upset at Triple H's booking status, or his style rather, because he did not have anybody prepared for Cody when Cody won the belt. But this is the basking period. Cody's the new champion, and everybody's looking at him, and hey, they want him to be champion for a while, so he's not gonna lose in his first couple of defenses. So they're giving him safe opponents so that the title can be defended and he can have good matches and he can have good showings. But this was the danger of, giving everybody what they wanted in terms of finishing the story. And now it's like, now what? And now what is random feud with AJ Styles? Or not even feud, just match with AJ Styles. Okay. Whatever. Next, Solo Sikoa. He's wearing a suit because he's very important. He's a very important man. He calls Tama Tonga his MFT, and I don't know what that means, and nobody does so far. He demands that Paul Heyman take him to Kevin Owens. Throughout the night, he tries to do that, and he can't find Kevin Owens. So they go to the ring, where Paul Heyman is trying to explain to everybody that this is not really the idea of Roman Reigns. He doesn't actually get to say that, but he does tell Solo Sikoa that he's making decisions that are not his to make yet. That one day, these will be his decisions, but not now. These are decisions that can only be made by the tribal chief. And then he gets the microphone snatched away from him. Solo gets on the microphone, says that he had to lose a brother to find a new one. Then he calls out Kevin Owens, who stumbles from behind the curtain, covered in tomato paste, and Tama Tonga is kicking the shit out of him. They start doing some fighting. Tama Tonga is destroying Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens, of course, fights back from underneath, and then he gets jumped and pummeled by Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa, and he's left bloody and beaten and battered. Then Heyman is bewildered by all of this stuff. He's like, I don't know what's going on. Corey Graves keeps calling them savages, which I'm sure is supposed to be offensive, and I'm pretty sure they're doing it on purpose. At this point, Heyman is carried by, well, not carried because he didn't physically pick him up, but he got grabbed by the bicep and he guided Paul Heyman to the scene of a crash where you see that two rental cars have been bashed into each other. And one of them belongs to Tama Tonga, the other one belongs to Kevin Owens, and you could pretty much put two and two together from there. Heyman is like, I guarantee you, sir, this has nothing to do with our tribal chief. The Bloodline had nothing to do with this. And all this guy giving them the riot act, saying that they handle things in the ring on SmackDown. This savage behavior is not going to be tolerated. And they're going to have the draft next week. And if there's any shenanigans out of the Bloodline, there will be consequences for more than just losing. So they're setting up a sort of an interesting element here, where now we're being told that Solo is basically taking over. There was a loud "We Want Roman" chant, which was fantastic. The fans turned Roman into a babyface on their own. They didn't. They decided we're going to tell our own story here. They didn't give us any update on Jimmy. They didn't talk about Jimmy. They didn't care about Jimmy. They just said Jimmy died and we moved on. We got a new Jimmy. And Tama Tonga is his Jimmy now. So that's just how it is. So I like the vehicular homicide thing. I would have preferred the old days where they actually showed it. But again, it's a PG product now. You could put two and two together. That Tama Tonga rammed Kevin Owens' car. The blood. Judiciously used blood can be very useful. They're using this story. They're using it in this story. And I'm okay with that because, the implications being that Kevin Owens was just in a car accident, so he should be bleeding. The problem I have with it is it's not real blood. It's clearly like tomato paste. I don't know what it is, but it wasn't dripping like blood should drip. It did not stain the ring like blood usually would. It didn't run. It just seemed to be the same regardless of what happened. I don't even think blood got on their hands and fists as they kicked Kevin Owens. So it wasn't real blood. It just had the visual, which I guess is fine. If you're micromanaging it or you're micro looking at it, then you would notice that it wasn't running or dripping or it didn't get on anybody or anything. It didn't smear. So, I mean, it is what it is, but it's okay. I was very lost in why they decided to decapitate and murder Kevin Owens, because what did Kevin Owens do exactly? Like, what did he do? How did we get in this situation where Kevin Owens is the guy that Solo Sikoa wants to kick the shit out of? And I don't remember why. So, I'm not going to do any research either. Again, I don't do research projects for, these things. If it's not like laid out on the screen, maybe I forgot what it was. Maybe there was some other run-in. But maybe they just decided, hey, Kevin Owens is a guy that is doing nothing and we need something for him to do. Because he was just feuding with Logan Paul. How did he end up in the crosshairs of Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga? I know that last week he was in the locker room with Cody Rhodes. He was in Cody Rhodes' locker room. Did that piss off Solo Sikoa that much that he decided that we were going to run him over with our cars and beat him to death the next week? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, they're calling them savages. They're calling them savages on purpose. I know that these are not slips of the tongue because they kept doing it. Corey Graves kept saying savage. And then Nick Aldis used the word savage. So is this going to be like the Savage Bloodline? It's going to be like the Avengers, where it's going to be like the Uncanny Avengers and the Savage Avengers, all new Avengers, like the X-Men. You're going to have the Uncanny X-Men. So that's going to have like the adjective bloodline. So it's going to be like the Savage Bloodline. I don't know, man. But this was good. I like the bloodline stuff. It's really good. Next, Nick Aldis was also out there to lay down the law on Grayson Waller and Austin Theory as they were presented with the new WWE Tag Team Championships, which were absolutely gorgeous belts, of course, modeled after the 80s and 90s Tag Team titles. Mwah! Really good job. Thank you. And we already knew this was going to happen. But Austin Theory and Grayson Waller decided they were going to make a mockery of Triple H, because it's all about Triple H, the very shy, humble Triple H who, never wants to make himself the center of attention. He never wants all the credit. He just kind of wants to play the back and, let the stars be the stars. He doesn't really want to be that guy, He's a very humble guy, that Triple H. One of those H's stand for humble. He got 3 H's there. One of them means humble. Anyway, maybe all 3 of them means humble, by the way. Maybe his name was Humble Helmsley. In any event, Grayson Waller is very talkative. He decides he's going to disrespect Triple H. And then Nick Aldis threatened him and called them a clown down under, or is it a down clown under, or something to that effect. It was a nice little dig, because Grayson Waller and Austin Theory are acting like high school jocks. And then we went into the Fatal 4-Way match to find out who the number 1 contender for these belts will be. And the Street Profits defeated Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates, AOP and Humberto and Angel. And this match had a lot of spots in it. There's a lot of, guys being bench pressed and all kinds of other weird stuff. Crowd was very involved with it. They were doing the Firefly thing, or, with the lights back and forth. It was very cool. The Street Profits win with a sky-high neck-breaker combo, which I didn't know was their finish. Their finish should probably be that blockbuster that they do from the elevated position. That should probably be their finish. So the Street Profits will wrestle Grayson Waller and Austin Theory for the Tag Team Championships. I'm okay with this. Again, it's not a feud. It's, hey, you won one match or a tournament, and now you're the number 1 contenders. How do you feel? Okay. I'm just glad it wasn't Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, because they suck ass. They got no reaction, by the by. How many weeks are they going to go by before these guys get a reaction? None. I saw a lot of people being super amped that Pete Dunne is, he's one of these producers for WWE speed. They're like, he's only 30 years old and he's already like, he sucks. He could just do that. All right. If he wants to be a producer, just let him do that. He can produce things, you know, just go produce stuff. Stop wrestling. Take Tyler Bate with you. You can both produce whatever you want. Horse shit, cow shit, bullshit, whatever. Just get away from my television. But my favorite thing about the week was Grayson Waller triggering Dax of FTR. Oh my goodness. So what occurred? So what happened is May 17th, Smackdown is going to be in Jacksonville. Yes, the very same Jacksonville that is the home of all elite wrestling. And so he says, this is from May 17th, he says, finally some good wrestling in Jacksonville. I feel like it's been years since we've seen really good wrestling in Jacksonville. That's what we're bringing back. The bait couldn't be more obvious. I mean, the bait could not be more obvious. And yet, Dax, a.k.a. FTR Bald, FKA Tiny Little Mustache Man. Hey, in that case, I hope they don't give him a match. In that case, I hope they don't give him a match. He had to respond. Just so insecure. Feelings is so sensitive that he had to seek out not even a comment directly at him or AEW to take offense to. Grayson Waller is so good, isn't it? He's just really good, isn't he? He gets under people's skin so easily. And he done worked Dax into a lather. What an idiot. What an idiot. Did he not know what business he in? Dax, do you understand what business you're in? This is the business where I feed my daughter. It's not real, Dax. It's not real. He's bullshitting you, okay? It was just a joke. You don't have to take the bait. It was for the audience, by the way. It was for the fans to take the bait. It was AEW fans who were supposed to get their feelings hurt. But because everybody's been on this whole stand up for AEW kick, Dax Harwood, this is how I feed my daughter. If you don't like AEW, then how can I? I mean, shut your ass up. Anyway, Naomi and Bayley, they both cut promos on each other. They want to be friends, but they don't want to keep their friendship in the way of this whole thing. And Bayley talked about being the only women's champion in WWE right now. So she has to focus and represent and not worry about damage control. Bayley, Naomi for the WWE Women's title was the main event of this show, and it ended in disqualification because Tiffany Stratton decided to beat up both of them. The best thing about this, look, the match wasn't bad, but it was clearly babyface versus babyface, and it was going to be weird regardless. The best thing about this was the presentation. So early in the match, they were doing the in-ring introductions, and they did sort of an interesting lens where Bayley, they had the nice little thing, the graphic at the bottom, champion, and she's basically like in 3D jumping off the page like, yeah. And, you know, it looked great. It looked great. So they're trying different things here. It looked good. Tiffany Stratton attacking both of them after being sort of defeated last week. So now she's back in the conversation. All right. This only leads to a triple threat match, which I don't like, but okay. If it's going to be a triple threat match at Backlash, fine. It only just incentivizes Bayley to pin Naomi and win the match. Because if she pins Tiffany Stratton, that would suck. But this being the main event and ending this way, I don't know. I guess so. You know, they gave it a main event presentation, but there was no story and no conflict between the two. So it was fine. I like Naomi's gear too. I like the music theme with the gear. Next, Carlito loses to Santos Escobar. Legado del Fantasma continues to say that they had nothing to do with attacking Dragon Lee. This thing has been going on for a long time. This Legado del Fantasma LWO thing has been going on for a long time. And I didn't particularly care for this Carlito Santos Escobar match either. I mean, it's just, it's fair to say I don't really care anymore about this feud. I think we just need to hurry up and go ahead and turn Carlito and make this thing move as quickly as possible. Because it ain't really working out. You know, not really working out. Damage Control. They claim that they're still the most dominant force, and Io will win back the title when she gets ready. And then they're up in the bleachers where there's almost no people. And right next to them is Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair wearing matching gear. And there's a short confrontation where they're basically like yelling across the barricade. And so Damage Control versus Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. We knew that was coming. But could we have done it in a more creative way rather than just them being up in the bleachers at the same time? And it wasn't even like Bianca and Jade was just happened to be up there. It's like they went up there specifically to get in the face of Damage Control, which is fine, so I guess that works out. I'm okay with that. All right, so the last thing I want to discuss before I wrap this up is kind of a news and note that I kind of forgot about, is that Nick Khan is discussing moving WrestleMania. They want to move WrestleMania away from early April because of college basketball. Nick Khan and his obsession with real sports. All right, now there's a bunch of conspiracy theories running around that Nick Khan is going to move WrestleMania to early May, which is going to, conflict with AEW's Double or Nothing. And it's all just a convenient excuse to move in on AEW's weekend. And I'm just looking at this thing and saying to myself, bro, the Royal Rumble is in January, right? So you're going to try to build WrestleMania from January to May? Come on, man. Even doing late April. For starters, from January to April is a long time. And for there to be, I think, one pay-per-view between that entire thing, that's a long time. It really is. But Nick Khan and his fetish for real sports, it's like there's never a good time to have an event that's going to compete with real sports. Because there's always constantly big sports events happening. I mean, his desire to move Raw off on Mondays because of Monday Night Football, can't move pay-per-views off Sundays because of football. Well, it's like, what are you going to have a pay-per-view on Thursday? Well, you can't do that because it might be Thursday Night Football. It's ridiculous, man. There's always going to be sporting events happening. People have had no problem with late March, early April WrestleManias. You talking about moving it to May. That's ridiculous. And AEW fans, not everything is about you. If they move WrestleMania to May, it won't be the counter program Double or Nothing. Because nobody cares about Double or Nothing. It's not like AEW's on a hot streak and they're going to move in to elbow some room out of them. No. But Nick Khan is wanting to turn this thing into what he wants it to be. And he doesn't want to do the East Coast outside stadiums anymore. So it's probably going to be West Coast dome stadiums. They was talking about doing the Sphere in Las Vegas. That actually might be fun. WrestleMania in the Sphere sound like it might be cool as fuck. But some of the other things, moving it from one month to another, if you move it to March, all right, I can survive you moving it to March because WrestleMania has been in March, But May? No, that's ridiculous. Why would you do that? Why would you move it to May? Maybe mid-April, push it back about 2 weeks. Still, I don't know. But I like my birthday weekend being WrestleMania weekend. I like that. So I'm a little biased on that tip. But let me know what you guys think about Smackdown, which was an okay show. And about, all the news and notes. And I'll talk to you guys later.